One of the things that I've had difficulty with as a teacher is this constant need for paper. Fortunately enough, I'm around technology all the time, and for the most part, so are my students. So, one of the things that I've started to do is I've started to create Google Docs and share them with my students so that they can work on them electronically. So, I create this master folder like this one here, class copies, and inside of this folder, I have all the documents that my students and I are working on, and the only thing that they have to do from their end is click on the document, and once they're inside of the document, they could click on File, and notice how I have this on lock status. But they just click on File, they can make a copy of it themselves, and then they just put it in their own folder, and then they can edit the document on their own end. So what I'm going to show you today is I'm going to show you how to go green and create a digital class using Google Docs. So the first thing I have here, I have this mock class that I created in my Get Organized video. I have all of my curriculum, I have my lesson plans, I have my quizzes, and if I click in here, let's say hypothetically that we're in the introduction unit, here is all of my documents for that introduction unit. Now let's say hypothetically I want to share this document with my students so that they could work on it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new folder inside of my drive. So again, I'm going to click on my drive so that it turns orange. I'll click on create, select folder, and I'm going to call this class copies. Then I put a hyphen in here, and then whatever the name of the class is that I'm working on. So let's say, just to stay current with what I was doing and get organized, I'm going to have it called technology. And in this class copies technology folder, one thing that you have to do is you have to click this drop down arrow and share it. So I'm going to insert in here my students' email addresses. So let's say hypothetically their email address is eric.berngen@gmail. And I'll put in all my students in here. And once I do that, you want to make sure that they are on view mode, because if they can edit, then they get into the document, they mess around with it, it changes colors, all kinds of crazy stuff. Some go missing. So one thing that I'll do is I'll put it as can view. And you have the option here to notify them via email that there's been a folder shared with them, or you could just add a message and just put so that this goes in the email as well, like here is the folder for all of our documents. So after you do that, you just send it, and now you'll notice that this person has been added and they can now view it. So anything you put inside of this class copies technology folder is automatically going to be shared with the students, which is great because then you don't have to keep sharing the same documents over and over and over again. So what I'll do now is I'll create a folder, and just like how I created my system in Get Organized, I'm going to number it 01 and then whatever unit it is. So this is introduction. So the students know where to go because they'll know what unit we're on. And now I'm going to go back and take a look at what the second unit was if I created one. So the second unit here is programming. I'm going to go back into my class copies and create that one as well. So I'll create another folder called O2 programming. And now anytime the students need to look for our folder, let's say they lose that link or whatever, they could just type up here in the search bar what it is they are looking for. So if you just tell them like type in class copies technology, it should pop right up for them. So now inside of this introduction folder, this is where I'm going to move the document that I created inside of my master folder, which is this. So this is the curriculum that I have that the students will never see, never touch. So I'll click on introduction unit, and let's say I want to share this with the students, the student interest sheet. So what I can do here is I make a copy, and then you'll see it generate something called like copy of day one. And I'm just going to drag this into the class copies folder here inside of introduction. And now if I click inside of here, here's this document and all my students can see it. So now I'm going to go ahead and rename this. I'll get rid of the day one. They don't need to know that. And just call it student interest sheet. And let's say I also wanted to share with them that day two item as well. The only thing I have to do is go inside of my curriculum, inside of my introduction unit, and this teacher interest questions. I'll make a copy of this as well. And I'm just going to drag and drop this into class copies, introduction. And now I have, once I click inside this introduction folder, I have both assignments, and I can rename this as well. Now from the student side, they'll go to this folder, they'll see this document, and they'll click on it, and it'll be in view only, and they won't be able to do anything to the document. So what they have to do, and by the way, I did create this as a blank document. What they have to do is they have to click on File, make a copy, and you'll have them edit this so it says student interest sheet. Maybe have them put their last name, so my last name is Burngen, hyphen student interest sheet, so that when you see it, you could actually grade it. You'll click OK. And this kind of puts this document in no man's land, so one of the practices that you have to enforce with your students is to have them move it to their folder. And let's say, hypothetically, they created their own class and their own folder, you would have them put it in there. So just check on whatever folder it is that they're working on. The other thing is that this is also great for collaboration. The students then can share the document, and they could have it, they could work on it as a group. And one of the ways that you could track progress of the students is you could have them work in different colors on the assignment. And I find that that's really great for keeping them honest. If you have an iPad and you download Google Drive on the iPad, you could also check students' progress from anywhere in the classroom just by looking into your folder that you have the students share with you. So I just kind of found this to be overall incredibly great for managing the classroom. If you have any feedback, as always, tweet at me at eBurngen or comment on my post on mrburngen.wordpress.com. Thank you.